So I went to this teacher in Pennsylvania and I said, I've got to know, why do the kids work so much harder for you than they do for the other teachers around here? And she says, you know, I think it's because I give them a lot more choices about things. And she said, watch this. And she passed out a math sheet, a worksheet, and there was 20 problems on it. And the kids started complaining about, oh, that's too many. She said, guys, don't do all of those. That's too many. Half is all you get to do today. And if you're only going to do half, why don't you decide whether you'd rather do the odd-numbered ones or the even-numbered ones? I looked at those kids, and they were so busy trying to figure out between odd and even, they forgot they didn't want to do any of them. Yeah. And another time, she looked at me after this, and she says, oh, he's given twice as many as I wanted to do, so it works out just fine. Yeah. Another time, she passes out a math sheet, and she says, okay, don't do all those. That's too many. 9 is all you get to do today. And if you're only going to do 9, you might as well just figure out the 9 easiest ones. Well, those kids were so busy arguing with each other about which one was the hardest. They were going, no, 7s are harder than 4s, no, 5, you know, and here they're doing all their work, and she's walking off to the bank saying, I give them twice as many as I want to do.
It reminds me of the teacher that he'd say to the kids, he'd give them twice as many to start with, then he'd say, are you guys going to do just the odd ones or just the even ones, or decide to do both? You know, and it didn't matter to him.
Yeah.
You know, they're all kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do. I'm going to do both. Wait a second, that's twice as much. You know?
The real fun was when she passed out 10 problems and said, do them all. Wait a minute, this one kid is going, no choices today. Yeah, but today you got to decide whether you're going to write the answers on the front side of the paper or the back side of the paper. And I said, no, kid, is that stupid? You know, I looked over, several kids got their papers like this, and they're turning it over. And you say, now, wait a minute, I'm an adult. I'd never fall for that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you bought a car, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, when you went to the car dealership and bought a little Control, because that's what they sell, right?
Yeah, yeah. You want the one with power economy.
Yeah.
The leather seats are
front-wheel drive or four-wheel drive.
Oh, man, they hit you with those things. And what they know is that all human beings crave control.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can either share it with people or wait till they take it.
Yeah, you know, we either give people control on our terms or they take it. And when they do, whose terms is it going to be on?
It's on theirs.
Is it going to be fun for us? Probably not, right?
No. So, yeah, great parents and great educators, they say to themselves, human beings need control, just like my students do, because they're human beings, despite popular opinion at times. And so I'm going to give them lots and lots of little choices that I'm totally fine with when it's convenient for me.
Oh, those are the deposits into the account,
Deposits into the account, that's right. Yeah, control is just like banking in that we are wise to make lots of deposits into the account when things are going well. And the deposits are what? They are little.
Very small.
Little choices, yeah.
It doesn't matter to the kid whether it's big or small. It just matters, am I getting bossed around or am I not getting bossed around?
Right.
That's the issue.
Yeah, so little teeny tiny choices. You want to sit over there or do you want to sit there? You know, you're going to do this in pen or pencil. You're going to do the odd ones or the even ones. Are you going to hand this in at the beginning of the class or after class, cursive or print? You know, and you never give choices that you're not okay with kids deciding on. And at home, you know, I love this one. I go to my 4-year-old and about 15 minutes before it's time to leave to go someplace and say, do you want to go right now or in 15 minutes? And he always says 15 minutes, and he thinks he's gotten his way, right? But it's just a little bit of control. You're going to wash your hair first or brush your teeth first, right?
You remember when we were teaching that workshop and those teachers started, they really got into this, and they said, oh, yeah, I do stuff like this. This one teacher said, I give the kids one assignment every week that they can refuse to do. I just say, every week you got one assignment and you can refuse to do it, and you can decide which one that is. And just right at the top of the page, I refuse to do this assignment, and I'll give you an A on that. She said, I just give them one more each week.
Exactly.
And one other teacher said, oh, that reminds me, I do the same thing with homework. They have one homework assignment that they can refuse to do each week because we know you're busy and you need to decide. this is so much fun. This one teacher was saying, I have so much fun with this. I can go to a kid and say, is that the assignment you chose not to do this week? Yeah. They get, did you know that the one on Friday is a lot harder?
It's kind of insidious stuff when you think about it. But control is such a huge deal. I mean, if I, as a psychologist, if I had to pick just a handful of things that are critically important in relationships, I'd say, first of all, unconditional love. Okay, and then I'd say limits, loving limits, and right up there I'd say a sense of having some control over my life. And we see the effects of the positive effects of people having control in a number of different areas. One of the most fascinating ones involved a study that was done by a couple of researchers named Glass and Singer. Their names aren't that important, but I want to give them credit, right? And they were initially studying what would happen with people in terms of their ability to handle noise, annoying noise. How long they could handle it, what sort of physiological effects would take place with all of this noise. And so they broke them into two different groups, and they put them into two different rooms. And it was identical. Each room was identical, except for one difference. In one room, they came in and they said, see this switch up on the wall right there? Yeah, if this gets too bad for you, you can turn this switch down, right? And that was the group that had a sense of what? A sense of control.
Yes.
And the interesting thing is that well, guess which group was able to stay in the room longer?
I'm guessing the one who's had an illusion of control.
Yeah, has a sense of control, but here's the most fascinating part. They didn't use the switch. See, and
they handled more control?
Yeah, they handle it. It's not so much that somebody takes advantage of the control, but they know that it's there, right? And that's kind of like you see the same thing when it comes to people in their cars. You know, you always want a really fast car, you know, a really powerful car. The speed limit is such and such. I can't go any faster than that, but I want to have that knowledge that I can go fast real quick.
Never use it, but
absolutely. We see the effects of control in nursing homes. We know that when elderly people have more control over their environment, like whether they're going to have on the menu or some of the color of the walls or some of the furnishings, and they're involved in that, they live longer and they're healthier.
Isn't that true with medication and pain medication?
Yeah,
so that was an interesting study.
It's fascinating in that many times when people can dose themselves, they actually dose less because they have that sense of control over what's going on. And see, there are really three areas with kids that are no-win areas for anybody if we choose to have a power struggle. And I categorize those as input, output, and inside the head. Now, input is what goes into their body. That's what they eat, right?
Yeah.
And when we try to control that too much and get into power struggles, who always wins that? Yeah, and the sad thing is we see many people living out unresolved control issues for the rest of their lives in the form of eating disorders. There's another area, and that's output, and that's what comes out of the body. And, we see parents that get into power struggles with their kids over potty training. You know who's going to win that one, right? But the one that's most relevant to educators is the inside the head deal, not the output one, hopefully, but the inside the head deal, and that is attitudes, beliefs, and learning. And when we get into a power struggle with a kid over what they put inside of their head in terms of learning, we will never win that. And that's why Love and Logic is so big on giving little teeny tiny choices over academic issues like the examples that we gave already.
Oh, and the nice thing about it is it important that we can boss kids around from time to time? Absolutely. Yeah, there has to be a time when we have to be the boss.
That's why we do this.
Yeah, exactly, because the more deposits we make into the account, the easier it is to say, wait a minute, aren't I usually pretty reasonable? Don't I let you decide from time to time? Well, it's my turn this time. Thanks for understanding. We take the withdrawal from the account.
That's right.
Now, back in the days when I was the other kind of teacher, the bully type teacher.
And other kind of parent.
I
remember those days.
Oh, you remember that, yeah. Well, I don't think I could have pulled off. I couldn't take any withdrawals because I'd never made any deposits. Okay. So they don't need big choices. They can be really tiny choices.
Little ones.
And we give them when everything is going well, not when things are going bad. You know, when things are going bad, really can't think of any choices.
Yeah.
Well, I can.
Yeah.
Do you want to live or die?
That's
You
not
know,
legal.
yeah. But I can think of all kinds of things when everything is going well.
Yeah.
And we don't give them choices over things that affect other people.
Right. Yeah.
And I've seen people make this big mistake. They give the choices after a kid has already said no. Drink your milk. No. Well, do you want milk or juice? Too late. Kids running the show.
Yeah. And so what you're talking about is how important it is to give, to be careful about the types of choices we give. And in the next segment, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.